Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to another Pokemon Sun and Moon Showdown battle video. In today's video, I am facing off against a team that is very unique as far as what I've seen thus far in the current new metagame, packing a couple Pokemon that I actually have not even come into contact with yet, mainly Mudsdale, Machamp, and Sylveon. Now, all of these Pokemon are good in their own right, I just haven't typically seen them, so that's what makes this such a cool battle, because I get to basically face off against a very interesting team that I normally would never see. So let's start things off. I'm going to go ahead and lead off with my Sableye as my opponent leads off with Sylveon, which is something that keeps happening. I just want to Mega Evolve, and my opponents just won't let me do that by leading with their Fairy types. But anyways, I'm just going to immediately go ahead and just go right into Jirachi, because obviously I'm going to take the Fairy move, which is the main reason, or one of the main reasons why I have this Pokemon. But it's going to give me a free opportunity to set up my rocks, which unfortunately is going to give my opponent also a free opportunity to go into Skarmory, to then go ahead and set up their rocks, which because I wasn't able to Mega Evolve is going to be something I really can't do anything about at this point, which is quite unfortunate, but at least I'm going to go ahead, get a burn on this Skarmory. I also found out that it was the Rocky Helmet variant, which is very good information, and as he goes for the Whirlwind, which I thought was very interesting because obviously it just got Magic Bounced, and he ended up getting Whirlwinded out into his Mudsdale, so I'm going to go ahead and just go for the Will-O-Wisp to try to burn that. Fortunately for me, he just goes into Gengar, and then he goes for the Never-Ending Nightmare. Now, I 100% did not predict this, even though it looks like I actually sort of might have made this play on prediction. I went for Recover because I was expecting the Life Orb variant, and I just wanted to see how much it would do, while also racking up some burn damage in the process. But that ended up being amazing for me, because now he's already used his Z move, and I didn't die from it, which is very, very important. Now, I could theoretically stay in here all day and recover off on these Shadow Balls and basically burn or make him die to burn damage, which would actually probably be the optimal and smart thing to do. But I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead, go for the knockoff, take out this Gengar so I don't have to worry about it later, because it does actually outspeed most of the things on my team. Now, unfortunately though, this is going to leave me at a very low range of health, which means that my Sableye is pretty much going to be death fodder later in the battle. I'm going to go ahead and switch it out right now, going into Jirachi on the Sylveon, and my opponent makes a very good play here, going out into Mudsdale. Now, fortunately for me, I'm still faster, so I'm going to just U-turn on it, and then go out into Rotom Wash here, predicting the Earthquake. Fortunately for my opponent, he again makes another really good play, going for the Rock Slide, and gets a crit, which isn't too big of a deal. But I'm also packing the Will-O-Wisp on the Rotom, so I'm going to go ahead, go for the burn now. Unfortunately, he goes down to Sylveon, but at least I am going to be canceling out this Pokemon's leftovers because of how burn damage works this generation, which is good against really any opposing wall. But just go for the Volt Switch out into Jirachi right here, and basically go ahead and go for the U-turn, because I knew my opponent was going to switch out right here. Goes into Mudsdale, and like I said before, this Pokemon, I haven't seen it too often, but Rotom Wash is a very, very good switch into it. And I'm just going to go for the Hydro Pump. You see the Stamina ability in action here, but unfortunately it's not really affecting my opponent that much because I am a special attacker. But the Close Combat isn't going to be enough to take me out, and then knowing he wants to switch out right here, I make a really good play and go for the Pain Split, which is going to take away half the health of the Hydreigon, and also give my Rotom a decent chunk of health back. Now I'm going to go into Sableye here and just use it as my death fodder. Hydreigon comes in, it goes for the Draco Meteor, it's most likely Scarfed, which is what they usually are, so this is just going to give me a free opportunity to just go for the Aurora Veil, as my opponent brings in Sylveon right here. Now, me knowing that I can do a little bit of damage to this thing, just going to go for a Moonblast to see how much it does, and the Hail plus the burn damage is going to slowly rack up on my opponent. But knowing that he went for the Wish right here, Protect is pretty obvious, so I'm going to just use this opportunity to go out right into Jirachi, which is then going to give me another free opportunity to try to either take this thing out with an Iron Head or go for some Switch Initiative with U-turn. This time around, I decided to go for Iron Head, wanting to take out the Sylveon, but he does go into Skarmory right here, which is a bit of a problem for me, at least in this particular matchup. So rather than U-turn, just going to go right out into Rotom. Unfortunately for me, he goes for the Whirlwind, which brings Jirachi right back in. So really we're in the same place we were a turn ago, but my opponent took a little bit more burn damage. Now me not wanting to switch out and knowing that Toxic is a pretty good move, I'm just going to keep going for Toxic until he whirlwinds me out into something, because there's no point in me U-turning to take Rocky Helmet damage, and if I switch out and when he whirlwinds me out into something else, I just get extra Stealth Rock damage. So I'm going to go get whirlwinded out in my Rotom, which is probably the best case scenario here, and just go for the Volt Switch, which is going to give me a free opportunity to now go back into Ninetales on the turn that Aurora Veil expires. Now I could go ahead and set this up right now, but I figured, you know what, I have this Sylveon in KO range, I'm just going to go for it. There will be another turn to set up Aurora Veil, I'm pretty positive. But unfortunately for me, my Hail is actually going to bite me in the butt here, because unfortunately it's going to cancel out my leftovers, meaning that I could have lived 2 Flamethrowers, but unfortunately I can't as a result of that. But knowing that he's probably locked in on Flamethrower, again I'm assuming he's Scarfed, I bring in Salamence right here, go for the Dragon Dance, and this is a very interesting Salamence. If you haven't seen its full moveset yet, it's Dragon Claw, Fly, Dragon Dance, and Fire Blast. And Fire Blast for things like Skarmory, which unfortunately I miss, which is a bummer, but that's okay because I'm at least going to get an opportunity, go out into Ninetales right here, and get the opportunity to now encore my opponent into Roost, which is what I was predicting them to do, which worked out really well for me because now my opponent has to switch out here. It's going to give me a free chance to set up Aurora Veil again, which is going to be very crucial as they bring in Mudsdale, which for me I can just easily take out with a Freeze Dry. So Hydreigon comes in one more time, goes for the Dark Pulse. I knew I could live that, and I thought maybe if he wanted to lock himself in on Flamethrower again, that would have just been advantageous to me, but unfortunately I get flinched by the Dark Pulse. And now me thinking, well, Jirachi's especially defensive, even if it's super effective, I can take this no problem. He crits me, and the Aurora Veil doesn't matter at that point. So I have to bring in Dugtrio here. And I actually have Pursuit on Dugtrio. I don't know if you've seen that before yet with this team, but I am Choice Scarf, so I am locked into Pursuit. So at this point, I'm just hoping that my opponent is not Substitute Machamp. And it looks like he's not. He just goes for Ice Punch a couple times. I can't switch out here, so all I have left at this point is Salamence. And as mentioned before, I do have the Fly, and I also have the Z Crystal that corresponds to that. So I get to go for Supersonic Sky Strike right here, which is going to easily take out the Machamp at this range. And now all he has left is the Skarmory. I miss another Fire Blast as he goes for a Roost, which is going to not really matter too much. As you see, Fire Blast still does 75%, so he can't just roost it off all day. And because of the burn, Brave Bird isn't going to do a ton of damage. So with the recoil from that move, and with the burn damage, I'm able to just go for Dragon Claw right here and take it out. Thankfully living with the Rocky Helmet damage because I did have enough health after that. But anyways, everybody, that is it for this video. So thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And as always, take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.